So, to keep talking about the 5 absorption factors. So, as one, like I was saying before, you repress the 5 hindrances, or they are repressed with access concentration, but the absorption factors aren't fully developed at that time. When the absorption factors are fully developed and the hindrances are repressed, that's when you enter into the first jhana. And then to succeed in going through the different jhana stages, you contemplate the faults of the lower stage of concentration and the benefits of the higher stage. And in that way, what you do is you let go of certain of these absorption factors, actually. Some of them are released, and through that the mind gets subtler, and you are able to progress to from the first to the second stage of concentration, to the third, to the fourth. Okay, so it's done by this process, which is also a form of insight, actually. It's a worldly form of vipassana, of meditating on the faults of the lower stage of concentration and the benefits of the higher ones. Okay, so in the first concentration, then you have all 5 of the jhana factors: coarse engagement, subtle engagement, rapture, bliss, and one-pointedness. Okay, then when in going from the first one, and what's absent there is all the 5 hindrances. Okay, when you go from the first jhana to the second, you let go of the coarse engagement and the refined engagement, because those are rougher minds, you know, and they aren't needed anymore. Okay, so as the concentration becomes deeper, those 2 mental factors kind of subside, and then you have the rapture, bliss, and one-pointedness. Okay, and so within that stage, you also have a greater sense of internal stillness, much more one-pointedness of the mind, deeper bliss from the concentration. Okay, then when you go from the second to the third, you let go of the rapture, because the rapture, although, you know, feeling very good, there's an agitated quality. It's a bit like being on a high, like giddy, so they say. I don't have any experience, but like it's so that in itself becomes a little bit of a distraction to deepening the meditation. So going from the second to the third, then the rapture is released, and you're left with the bliss and the single-pointedness. Okay, and so at that point you begin to have much more equanimity. Of course, you have you know, you still have your mindfulness and your introspective awareness, and also the body's quite blissful. That started happening, you know, with the generation of serenity, you know, with access concentration. Then going from the third to the fourth concentration, you release the bliss, because bliss is, again, you know, it's elevating the mind, so it distracts from the stillness. So the bliss is released, you're left with one-pointedness. And at that point, you know, both the you know, any kind of, well, yeah, you've released the bliss, okay? And so at that point, then you have a feeling of equanimity. Yeah. And we would usually say, wow, I'd rather have bliss than equanimity. Yeah, wouldn't we? Yeah, but in the deep states of concentration, then even the bliss can be somehow, you know, over the top, or somehow preventing the depth of the concentration. So when that's released, then the equanimity becomes very, very deep, and so the or very, very stable. So the meditation becomes very deep, and so at that point, the mindfulness attains like a much stronger state of purity. And it's said that the mind is purified, bright, unblemished, free of imperfection, malleable, wieldly, steady, and attain to imperturbability. Okay? And so those are the 4 states of jhana.